Hello and welcome to Learning Beyond Boundaries. I'm your host Renuka, and together we shall be walking through this special series which focuses on one significant question. Is today's education making our children ready to face the future? Today the world has grown smaller and more connected. While there is an increasing mass of information, our understanding about how to make the world a better place hasn't shown similar progress.
Approach in the education will have to be holistic.
There is no alternative to holistic education.
Today, holistic education means to creating a good human being.
Consequently, never before has education been as important as it is now. Education is our key to successfully face future challenges because it's about empowering the next generation. Learning has to be practical and relevant, but there are several questions to be answered. How practical are academics today? Are community service initiatives undertaken by schools relevant? How encouraging is our approach towards sports? And finally, how relevant is our education system that equally focuses on several areas of learning besides academics?
These students can be a good citizen of the country.
He can be good in something is not in the others. And understanding where is the passion and potential of the student, and then trying to provide the student that facility.
And the key part of holistic learning to me is about experiential learning.
Access to information, new technology, global competition, new avenues and new challenges. Learning is definitely not easy in today's world. Learning Beyond Boundaries is a series which will bring to you the thoughts, views and ideas of eminent personalities from diverse fields about how they think education should shape the citizens of tomorrow. Our first episode today is about holistic education. Schools around the world today focus on developing well-rounded students excelling in academics while at the same time offering them diverse platforms to hone their skills in the areas of sports, arts and leadership. Is there an alternative to holistic education? Let's ask our first guest on the show, that's Mr. Aftab Seth, who has served as the Indian ambassador to several countries including Greece, Pakistan, Vietnam and Japan.
I think there is absolutely no alternative to holistic education. What does holistic mean? It means an all-round education. Obviously, everything cannot be learned in the classroom. The British Empire was won on the playing fields of Eton. What made Eton such a great school? Of course, academically it is extremely sound even today. The highest number of people getting into Oxford and Cambridge come from schools, elite schools like Eton. But what made schools like Eton in our own country, there are schools like the Doon School and other good schools, which believe in a holistic education, which means that you give equal emphasis to your sports, equal emphasis to your painting, to carpentry, to metalwork, to wood carving, to stone carving, to voluntary work in villages, to teaching the aged, to teaching young underprivileged children. This is all part of your education. To acquire leadership roles, to be prefects, to nurture younger children, to mentor them, to help them acquire the disciplinary rules of the school, to be harsh with them where harshness is required, to be gentle with them where gentleness is required, to be understanding of them where understanding is required. This is what seniors and mentors and prefects must be taught to do in looking after the young. They are the sort of intermediaries between the non-commissioned officers, if you like, between the teachers and the students. And you have to treat them like non-commissioned officers and give them that sense of responsibility and allow them to acquire these qualities of discipline tempered with gentleness.
So does he really believe that holistic education is the future of learning?
There is no alternative to holistic education, let me put it that way. If you just put a child in a classroom and make him mug up what he has been told to do as part of the course, he may do well in the odd examination, but he'll not achieve very much beyond that. He'll not achieve very much beyond that. Because books can only teach you, teachers can only teach you half the job. The other half of the job you get by getting knocked about a bit, getting pushed around a bit, because that's the real world. The real world is not a classroom. The real world is full of knocks and full of bruises and full of hurts and full of disappointments and full of heartaches. And the earlier that you learn this, the better you will be able to cope with your life when you leave school.
That was Mr. Aftab Seth expressing his views on holistic education. And now on our show we have Justice C.S. Dharmadhikari, a celebrated legal luminary who is well known for his several landmark judgments in various significant issues, a follower of Gandhi's universal values and a passionate educationist.
Now in the school, what is happening, there are schools where the boy's name even the teacher will not know because of the crowd. In a crowd there can't be any education, because in crowd what happens? Crowd has head but no brain, it has chest but no heart, they are hands but they are hands for destroying certain things, not for constructing certain things. Therefore, approach in the education will have to be holistic. Personality building, and personality building also in such a way that he should not know that he is being forced to do something. The boy should not know that he is being looked after as only a guinea pig. There is a saying that where is wisdom, we have lost it in the education. Where is education, we have lost it in the knowledge. Where is knowledge, we have lost it in the information. And where is information, we have lost it in the Doordarshan. Information, knowledge, education or wisdom. He said, I went to the school, I wanted to learn, they went on teaching. So teaching and learning is a process which must go on simultaneously, because education liberates the man.
How true is that? Learning and teaching certainly go hand in hand.
Holistic education is the very good word that you choose.
The mother of all learning is doing.
The boxing was encouraged, though it was not seen as one human being hitting the other.
Through doing things, you internalize it.
Holistic education basically means looking at a student from a 360-degree dimension.
Is really powerful. Today's technology has come right at our doorstep.
And now it's time for us to meet our next guest on the show, an eminent environmentalist, Ms. Kirtida Mekani, who truly believes that the mother of all learning is in doing.
Today's learning is not just about academics, but it's about a well-rounded exposure. So I would like to coin the word, it's holistic, well-rounded learning. So when we talk about what you're doing in the classroom, learning math, English, sciences, social studies, you also need to be doing other things to hone certain soft skills which are going to be very important moving forward. The arts is an important component, sports is an important component, plus the outdoors, and the key part of holistic learning to me is about experiential learning. I would like to use this tagline, which is one of my favorite lines: the mother of all learning is doing. The essence of learning is in doing, because through doing things you internalize it, and when you internalize it, it stays with you for long term. The other things is the kind of skills also that will be needed for today and tomorrow are analytical skills. So we must equip them how to analyze things. It's not just about rote learning or being informed, it's about assimilating information and bringing your dimension to it.
Does being a part of a sport teach us more than just that sport? We have with us the father of Indian software industry, Mr. F.C. Kohli. Let's hear what Mr. Kohli has to say about this from his own experience.
I think that is the only way to go about it. If you want people to grow up to be not only good citizens, but productive citizens, that's the only way. They have to grow in many fields. I remember in my early days in school when the boxing was encouraged, though it was not seen as one human being hitting the other. But I think it had its own thing, and it did. Whosoever of us participated in boxing learned a lot of things. One, the rule that every game has a rule. You can't go beyond the rules, and you can't do something which is outside the rules. And then you enjoy learning, which you learn in these extracurricular activities even a lot more than what you learn in the classroom.
Sports brings teamwork with discipline and is a vital part of holistic learning. Let's hear what Mr. Rajiv Katyal, Country Director of Global Indian International School in India, has to say about the need for a well-rounded development of a student in today's world.
Holistic education basically means looking at a student from a 360-degree dimension. Looking at the student as a person who is just not good in one thing, but can be good in multiple things, or he can be good in something and not in the others. And understanding where is the passion and potential of the student, and then trying to provide the student that facility to be able to exercise that potential, exercise that passion, develop in that area, so that when education is all about building the child's future, his future is secure in the area which he likes, which he is good at. That exactly is what holistic education is all about. It covers multiple dimensions, yet lets the student excel in that area where he or she is happy being.
That was Mr. Rajiv Katyal talking to us about holistic education, emphasizing on the need for us to widen our mindset and to accept the opening up of multiple dimensions, and within that, accept every new avenue as a healthy choice for pursuit of a career. Moving on, let's talk to retired Lieutenant General Sudhir Sharma about his views with regards to the ever-changing environment and how education is coping up with the same.
The change is so rapid today, and the amount of knowledge which is being come into the domain is so fast and so good. And the methods of teaching, the curriculums are changing so rapidly, and the number of disciplines in the curriculum are increasing so much. And students want variety, they're innovative. The child today is so curious, he's so good. I'm so thrilled when I meet young students today. They have such a fertile mind, they're so inquisitive, and they want to learn more. And therefore, it's become very important to package the education in a manner that he gets every kind of flavor into it. And that is a very dynamic challenge for everybody, for the people who create the curriculum, for the teachers who impart it, for students to learn the diverse things, and therefore it becomes, like you said, very challenging to how to impart that quality of high quality education which is really meaningful. You know, holistic education is the very good word that you choose. It comes from the word holism. What I mean by holistic education is that today we are not looking at creating another labor or a workforce guy out of the school, you know. There is another one person going to work, or even a citizen. I feel that today holistic education means to creating a good human being who's fully rounded and who's fully alert to what's happening and able to cope with today's world. You know, when you talked about leadership, today the leadership is becoming so diverse because bureaucracies and hierarchies are crumbling. And it's a networked world. So herein the leadership challenge lies in creating a network team, how to lead it. And schools have a reason that they must develop the skills in a child so that his leadership skills, entrepreneurial skills are also developed. And therefore holistic education today would imply to creating a rounded person, not so much concerned about the academics only, but also concerned about values, his ability to merge and live in this world environment as a good human being, doing his responsibility and duties to all, and growing and employing himself.
Every person doing an everyday job can be a leader, and that's a value that we try and inculcate into all our children.
Physical aspect has to be taken care of.
I believe entrepreneurship or entrepreneurs are born.
Holistic education is the very good word that you choose. I feel that today holistic education means to creating a good human being who's fully rounded and who's fully alert to what's happening and able to cope with today's world. Therefore, holistic education today would imply to creating a rounded person.
With a strong viewpoint from retired Lieutenant General Sudhir Sharma on 360-degree personality development being the need of the hour, let's now talk to Mr. Chandu Borde, a renowned name in the field of Indian cricket, and ask him what his views are about nurturing the citizens of tomorrow.
I would like to introduce all these sporting activities in a larger way, big way, so that these students can be a good citizen of the country and society, and they can help not only global Indian international but in other field also.
Right.
Also their physical aspect has to be taken care of.
Yes.
And this is where the global Indian schools are going to play a big role. And that's why we are opening these what you call the academies in different schools.
Yes.
And this will go a long way for us from the students' point of view. They can make a career, they can be a healthy person, and they can perform well in their studies also. So they can become a good all-rounder.
Yeah.
Challenges are that they can meet with confidence.
Yes, that's right.
If they are healthy. Once you are healthy, you can go about with confidence. Your confidence level goes up, and then you can face any difficulties or any challenges successfully. And this is what we want global Indian schools to do that.
Learning beyond boundaries in today's world seems to have gained acceptance far and wide, with steps being taken regularly to ensure that our education system is able to cope up well with the dynamic, challenging environment. Talking about holistic education brings us to a significant aspect of this topic, which is leadership and entrepreneurship. Can schools today inculcate this in their students? If so, how? Let's talk to Mr. Harish Swami, who is the Deputy CEO and Chief Operating Officer of the Global Schools Foundation.
There are two schools of thought to this really, one of which says leaders and entrepreneurs are made, and another which says that they're born. Obviously we believe in the former, we believe that they're made. And in many ways, the qualities that leadership and entrepreneurship and the qualities of leaders and entrepreneurs are broadly similar. They have to set direction. They've got to decide what risks to take and what risks not to take. And they've got to convince people of the vision. So in many ways, it is similar. So we run a Center for Leadership and Entrepreneurship, and where we really expose children to not just lecture series and so on and so forth, but also get them very practically into situations which require entrepreneurial thinking and leadership. All our children get exposed to situations which require leadership. All our students get exposed to situations which require them to be creative and also be able to express their ideas and communicate their ideas to a body of people. And that is really the beginning of leadership. You don't need to be designated a leader to lead. Every person doing an everyday job can be a leader, and that's a value that we try and inculcate into all our children. We do not want to teach leadership and entrepreneurship in a values vacuum. We want to integrate it with values because we believe that all these various qualities that you need to have should also be linked so that you can bring to bear the full force of your heart, soul and mind into every solution for a problem.
So today it's not only about academic excellence, it's about holistic education. Continuing our discussion on leadership and entrepreneurship, our next guest throws light on a very different school of thought. We have with us Mr. Boon Yoon Chiang, who is the Chairman of Board and Managing Director of Jardine Matheson Group in Singapore. So how about skills like leadership and entrepreneurship? Do you think they can actually be embedded, inculcated in a child from young age?
Yes, to a certain extent it can be. But I believe entrepreneurship or entrepreneurs are born. I mean, although as I said, events and special circumstances, create a situation where you become an entrepreneur. Just the same as one is pushed to assume a leadership in a certain development. But the gift to be able to seize opportunities and to be aware of what opportunities are in the marketplace or wherever there is. It's embedded in you when you are born, I believe. Although along the way, you acquire equipment, wisdom, and the rest of it.
The Global School 9 Gems program is an absolutely wonderful way of working positively on holistic learning. What better way than to structure life's challenges as a part of the curriculum and ensure that every student not only understands but aligns himself to learn and identify with all aspects, be it academics, sports, leadership, community service or more.
I would like to again reinforce on the holistic learning, and I think GIIS has this 9 Gems program, and I think that's a beautiful way of bringing a holistic learning by developing these 9 qualities or gems that they call, and develop a whole being and bring out the full potential in a child, which happens not just in the classroom but also beyond classroom. And GIIS is providing opportunities, programs and activities to make this happen, and that's really a very good way to go. And in 10-15 years time, when all these kids are out there in the world making a difference, that will be the real test as to how they've performed. The role of the school is now to seed these qualities, these ideas through activities, through thought processes, through thinking, through debates, through lessons. And as and when they go out in the market, in the world, when situations arise, unexpected situations arise, all these things will immediately come to their call.
That brings us to the end of our first episode in the series of Learning Beyond Boundaries. We hope you not only enjoyed watching this show, but you also found it thought-provoking and involving. Our next episode will focus on what makes a global student. Till we meet again, it's goodbye from the team of Learning Beyond Boundaries.